Welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Mary Lee. It's good to have you with us. Coming up in this week's top story, students from Tzu Chi University honors 8 silent mentors for their selfless dedication to the medical field. We also visit Tzu Chi senior volunteer Ji Jingyang, who was a 1-month trip to the United States to share her experiences with other volunteers. And in Penghu, Taiwan, Tzu Chings are holding a tea gathering to foster a family-like atmosphere for those living far away from home. To start off today's show, we go to Hualien, Taiwan, as a joint memorial service was organized for 8 silent mentors on March 11th. These mentors give selflessly to the medical field and assist in simulated surgery, giving soon-to-be doctors a chance to practice on actual bodies. After their surgeries are finished, these doctors carefully sew up the cuts. Attendees at the service included staff and students of the Tzu Chi University and family members of the silent mentors.
Thank these 8 silent mentors, medical students put on a singing performance which moves those attending to tears. The unselfish dedication of the silent mentors not only help these medical students hone their medical skills, but also inspire them to work to fulfill the responsibilities of their profession to the utmost.
My father donated his body to not only help the medical students improve their medical skills, but also teach them the meaning of life. I'll tell my son and my daughter that their grandfather set a good example, and they must remember their grandfather's wisdom and cherish their own lives.
At the 4-day simulation surgery course, medical students learned of the great love demonstrated by the silent mentors, as well as the spirit of respecting lives and benefiting the public.
Upon carrying out the simulation surgery, I could deeply feel the responsibilities of my profession. Each cut on the silent mentor's body reminded me of their expectations and the family's love towards them.
Carrying the love and expectation of the silent mentors and their family members forward, these future doctors will continue to pass on the great love to more people. After the memorial ceremony, a memorial service was organized where family members put the silent mentors' ashes into a bone urn. Despite their bodies now being gone, their unselfish spirit will always be remembered. Later, the ash urn was put in the Dashe Hall at Tzu Chi University. Silent mentor Wang Henan was the architect of the prefabricated housing in Shanling of Kaohsiung. Despite being ill, Wang still dedicated himself to volunteer work to set an example for his children.
We children are actually quite calm now. We didn't support nor object to his wish to be a silent mentor in the beginning. Seeing our father fulfill his dream to be a silent mentor inspired me to probably follow his path.
Following the success of the simulation surgery, Tzu Chi University organized this memorial service to mark the contributions of the 8 silent mentors.
For me, the idea of donating cadavers is unbelievable because there's no such a program in Singapore. Seeing their dedication to us strangers means a great deal to me.
The 8 silent mentors fulfill their dreams of making one final contribution to members of the public, thus making a perfect ending to their lives.
In Paraguay, to safeguard the health of those in need, the Tzu Chi Asuncion Liaison Office offers free Chinese acupuncture therapy on a regular basis. Thanks to the help from a Chinese medicine practitioner, Zhong Ruizhen, many have regained their health.
Treating her patient attentively is Chinese medicine practitioner Zhong Ruizhen.
This is because his blood circulation is not that great, and his phalangioma burst, so his feet are black. He suffers from diabetes too. If he has even a little injury, it takes a long time for it to heal.
To safeguard the health of local residents, the Tzu Chi Asuncion Liaison Office hosts free clinics on a regular basis. Here, Dr. Zhong reminds her patient that he needs to eat less starchy food.
Puede tomar ese jugo de guayaba.
Assisting Dr. Zhong is her granddaughter, who, in spite of her young age, is very good at cupping therapy. Every time Dr. Zhong treats a patient, she always reminds them to adopt a healthier lifestyle. Touched by Dr. Zhong's kindness, many patients would donate money to the bamboo banks after their treatment, as they hope to contribute their share and help those in greater need.
In Northern California of the United States, Mountain View Tzu Chi volunteers prepared a vegetarian dinner for a homeless shelter in Sunnyvale, which included fried rice, a variety of vegetables, spring rolls, fruits, and dessert. What's special is that these were all made by Silicon Valley engineers. For one person to prepare a vegetarian dish for 130 people is not an easy task. However, Silicon Valley engineer Zhu Peida is up to the challenge.
Because my kitchen is small, I have to spend time making the food in batches. But coming here and seeing how much everyone is enjoying the food makes the effort worthwhile.
Here in Northern California, those who are enjoying this vegetarian dinner are patrons of a homeless shelter. Some are veterans of the war, while others have lost their house due to financial difficulties. However, Mountain View Tzu Chi volunteers treat each other like old friends.
There are no barrier between Tzu Chi volunteers and the homeless. When we hold food distributions like this, we often forget they are homeless.
After introducing Tzu Chi's missions and songs, these volunteers enjoy a simple meal under the moon and count their blessings with one another. Also in Silicon Valley, Tzu Chi volunteers held a commemoration ceremony for fellow volunteer Ling Wang Shouqing, who passed away a decade ago. The senior, whose life story was made into a Dai drama, inspired over 10,000 members to join Tzu Chi's ranks.
Always wearing a smile, Tzu Chi volunteer Ling Wang Shouqing, or better known as Silicon Valley Grandma, passed away a decade ago. Her fellow volunteers in Northern California are coming together once again to commemorate the senior's dedication to Tzu Chi over the years. What's Chen Jialong, who wrote an autobiography on the grandma, remembers most about the senior was her handbag.
You would always find her phone book inside. Wherever she went, she always carried her phone book in her bag.
The volunteers take turns sharing their fond memories of the late grandma.
It took us 3 hours to get there and another 3 to come back. And the grandma spoke in Taiwanese about Tzu Chi for the whole 6-hour trip.
When she disagreed, she would say, "Is that so?" or "Is that right?" She would ask questions instead of arguing with you.
Though only getting to know Tzu Chi at 67 years of age and unable to speak a word of English nor drive a car, the grandma still managed to persuade over 10,000 members to join the Buddhist NGO.
Silicon Valley Grandma's faith towards the Master and Tzu Chi is my biggest inspiration.
I hope to pass on the grandma's spirit of taking care of the needs of those around her and her determination to give till her last breath.
At the commemoration ceremony, Ling Wang Shouqing's daughter and family took to the stage to thank Tzu Chi and also look back on the life of the senior residents.
Her needs were few and simple. She only wanted to give her time and effort to everyone. That was her way to live.
I don't know what I could add to all the good blessings we've heard here today, but I'm sorry I wasn't here to read this for you, but I think she did a good job.
Volunteers at the ceremony who met the grandma personally before she passed away all vowed to pass on her selfless spirits to future generations.
Another senior Tzu Chi volunteer who is seizing every moment to give is Ji Jingyang, who is known to her fellow volunteers as Mother Ji, and is currently on a 1-month trip to the United States to share her experiences in Tzu Chi's work.
Having published 2 books on her decades of experience in Tzu Chi's work, Tzu Chi volunteer Ji Jingyang, who is over 70 years of age, is going on a 1-month trip to the United States to share her life story with her fellow volunteers.
When doing Tzu Chi's work, our mind will be clear. We will be happy and healthy. We will walk with confidence and share our experiences.
Also known as Mother Chi, the volunteer always attracts a large crowd wherever she goes.
To me, this is a fight that I must win. I must overcome my physical strength to share what I can.
Ji Jingyang's faith and determination towards Tzu Chi has remained the same over the past 35 years, and she wants to share her happiness with all those around her.
Returning to Taiwan, as this week marks the second anniversary of the 3/11 disaster in Japan, one Tzu Chi volunteer, Chen Liangda, who participated in all of the organization's relief work, then returned to Hualien to share his experiences. Chen says, though many of the survivors have yet to recover from their devastating loss, many were inspired to give upon receiving donations from around the globe.
On this table, one will find all sorts of different coins in display, with some even arranged in the number of 311. These coins are all donated by a resident in East Matsushima of Miyagi Prefecture in a Tzu Chi coin bank he once received.
The donor was also a disaster victim whose house was flooded by the tsunami and receives consolation cash from us as a result. After listening to us talking about the bamboo coin bank era, he took one home with him and donated whatever coins he could find.
In the aftermath of the 3/11 disaster, Tzu Chi immediately held distributions to hand out relief items and consolation cash to help some 100,000 families. Meanwhile, donations from 39 countries worldwide poured in through various channels, adding up to 2.1 billion NT dollars.
Having received the donation, many residents were inspired to give as well, though they are victims of the calamity and weren't able to give a lot, and the total value of this coin bank may not be much. The love that was inspired will be passed on.
The path to recovery may be a long one. However, rest assured, Tzu Chi volunteers will be there to accompany the residents through times of need.
In China, following a visit to solitary senior residents in Changshan District, Tzu Chi volunteers in Fuzhou City of Fujian Province discovered serious sanitation problems in nearby communities. Therefore, 20 Tzu Chi volunteers returned to take the first steps in cleaning up.
Here in Fuzhou City, Tzu Chi volunteers travel from the bustling city center to a nearby rundown area. Here, one finds garbage scattered all over the street.
Most of the residents were relocated here for temporary shelter, and many are immigrant workers. As they are all busy making a living, they pay less attention to sanitation. We discovered this problem when we visited the Ling family, so we came here today to help this community clean up.
With their signature patient, 20 Tzu Chi volunteers put on facial masks and gloves and start cleaning up. Despite the dust that is everywhere, volunteers all focus on their tasks.
I'm here to help other people. It makes me happy.
I was here to play with the other kids, but I saw you're cleaning up, so I joined you.
Residents here used to neglect public sanitation, but after seeing the Tzu Chi volunteers' devotion, many of them chose to join the cleaning. Thanks to the dedication of the volunteers and residents, this community has taken its first steps to the road to cleanliness.
Also in Fujian Province, at the Tzu Chi Wuyuanwan office in Xiamen, volunteers organized another parent and child class. One of the highlight speakers of the class was Tzu Chi Teachers Association member Lin Rong, who shared her ideas on education, motivating many parents to reflect on the ways of educating their children.
At the parent and child class held in Tzu Chi's Wuyuanwan office, each participant is drawing a card to play act as the various animals that can commonly be found in our food.
I feel meat isn't tasty and I won't eat meat anymore.
No killing is the first principle on the 10 Tzu Chi precepts.
We must love these animals, letting them live in their own habitat.
Learning to respect lives and appreciate what Mother Nature gives are the aims of this parent and child class, where parents not only get to spend quality time with their children, but also learn to revisit the ways in which they educate their children.
From now on, I will use gentle ways to educate my children. I found my son very horrible before, asking my children to follow strict standards.
Thanks to Tzu Chi, these parents who used to be strict now learn to be more tolerant and understanding of their children.
Taiwan's Penghu University of Science and Technology, the Tzu Chi Club held a tea gathering for prospective members. Tzu Chi's hope that through such activities, the ethos and message of Tzu Chi can find its way to every campus here in Penghu. At the gathering, in addition to a short lecture on the mission of the club, students and volunteers also showed participants how to make their own bamboo coin banks. Here at the Jingsi Hall, students from the Tzu Chi Club of Penghu University of Science and Technology are sharing their experiences in gathering the love. As the head of the club shares with the audience what it means to be a Tzu Chi.
What is a Tzu Chi? It is when you see a person that needs your assistance on public transits and you are willing to give up your seat for them.
With everyone present of one mind, participants and volunteers alike joyfully work to design and build their own bamboo bank. For those students whose home is far away, the family-like atmosphere of the gathering was inspiring.
Tzu Chis are one big family. Everyone is so warm with one another. My family is not in Penghu. However, being a part of Tzu Chi makes me want to continue to be a part of this family.
Before the start of the tea gathering, several Tzu Chis and volunteers came together to tidy up the Jingsi Hall, which they consider to be their second home.
We are here so often, and the volunteers treat us like we are their children, so we felt we should find some way to reciprocate, as we should treat them as we would our parents.
Cleaning up the Jingsi Hall, Tzu Chi say that although their school load is heavy, with Tzu Chi they always have a place to find refuge and recharge. Also in Taiwan, Chixiaos traveled to a home for the disabled in New Taipei City's Bali district. There, Chixiaos put on a performance, and during their visit, they learned the true meaning of blessings as they listened to a physically challenged inspirational speaker share her story.
Zhang Yuanting suffers from muscular dystrophy. However, she no longer feels sorry for herself, but has used her condition as a motivation in her life.
My purpose in life is I can tell everyone my story and inspire others to treasure their blessings. Of course, I feel frustrated at times, but these setbacks are motivation to forge ahead.
A group of Chixiaos spent the day at this home for the severely handicapped in New Taipei City's Bali district, using their heart to care and learn.
When I encounter problems in the future, I will face them bravely and with an optimistic heart.
In the past, I always questioned why I should do housework. I have to study, so why do I also have to do housework? But now my thinking is, since I can do it, why don't I do it? I have a healthy body, and with it, I can show the world how much I can do. So there is no reason not to do so.
During their visit, not only did the Chixiaos bring much joy to the residents, but many were also inspired to see their life and problems in a new light.
In Xizhi of New Taipei City, 83-year-old Lai Caiju once lived a frivolous life where she only cared about her appearance. To some, she lives an envious life. However, Lai did not find fulfillment from it. 20 years ago, she heard about Master Zhen Yan's mission to help the poor and was moved to turn her life around. Ever since, she has been doing her part in recycling work. Pushing a trolley around, the senior is going to each vendor asking if they have cartons lying around. Lai Caiju sees these cartons not as trash but as treasures. When Lai was younger, her trips to the street market were not complete without high heels, while most of her extra money was spent on frivolous items. All that changed 20 years ago when she saw Master Zhen Yan helping out the less fortunate.
The master is helping people. Seeing Master Zhen Yan helping out in disaster areas makes me happy, and it inspires me to do the same.
Countless times a day, Lai travels to and from the street market and the recycling station, picking up recycling and dropping them off. Despite the ease in which she goes about her day, the truth of the matter is, Lai is now a senior citizen, and in an age when she should be relaxing, she is still instead laboring away.
When I can still give, I will give. There are those who are poor or in wheelchairs that are still helping out, so I consider myself lucky. I can still move about freely.
In the beginning, Lai's family did not understand the changes. Nonetheless, Lai's determination and happiness in being able to give won her family over.
If I can contribute my part, then that's my blessing. It would be not good if I could help out, but I didn't.
In Taiwan, the Tzu Chi This recycling station in Kaohsiung is located around a provincial highway, which attracts the attention of many local residents. Recently, joining the volunteers' efforts is local resident Chen Yiting, who says recycling volunteers have helped her gain a better understanding on how to protect our Mother Earth.
Early in the morning, the Qishan recycling station in Kaohsiung City is already filled with volunteers, and among them is first-timer Chen Yiting.
I want to practice recycling because this is a job that I want to do. It's just that I didn't have the chance to do so before.
Chen says that she has went past the Qishan recycling station many times, and the signboard always caught her attention, so she finally decided to walk in.
I am from this region, and I thought it is great that I have this chance to come here.
Practicing recycling can help our environment and cleanse our hearts. We can also bring our family along with us.
After practicing recycling, I am healthier and my coordination has improved too.
In passing on their knowledge to Chen, these recycling volunteers hope through their actions to inspire more people to safeguard the planet and cherish our resources.
At the end of the show, Guatemala Tzu Chi volunteers visited the city of San Jose Panula to distribute scholarship aid and stationery to needy students. Helping out as a volunteer is Taiwan's Guatemala ambassador, Sun Da-cheng. That's all the time we have for today. Have a good weekend and see you next week.